$500 is a good sum of money, Mr. Manning.
My wife's life is worth more.
Are you sure it'll do any good?
Well, we can't stay here in New York, and the doctors feel if I can get her to a drier climate, she'll recover completely.
I'm a businessman, Mr. Manning. Now, just what are you prepared to give in return for this money?
You mean collateral? I'm afraid I can't give anything, sir, except my word that you'll be paid back. I'm sorry I bothered you.
I didn't say I wouldn't give you the money.
Then you'll make the loan?
No, not as a loan.
Look, I don't want charity.
You'll get none from me. This just arrived. My son Adam has been conscripted. I had hoped the war between the states would be over before we had to resort to conscription. He hasn't seen this, doesn't know anything about it. I have great plans for my son, Mr. Manning. Important plans. Even a year or two in the service could seriously delay them. If he
You
were
want me to take your son's place?
I do.
But my wife, I've been exempted from service because of her illness. All right, Mr. Stewart.
You will report in my son's place for induction at the Armory in 3 days. That should give you ample time to settle your affairs.
Did you get it? Oh, I knew you would. Mr. Stewart is a generous man.
From out of the West, Dick Powell's Zane Grey Theater. Although every man in the West depended on the Army, it was 1862 before the soldier was given a decoration. That was about 100 years of fighting just for beans and saddle sores. On July 12th, Congress authorized this award. It was called the Congressional Medal and was the first decoration ever given to an American soldier. It was first given to 6 Ohio enlisted men, members of the Mitchell Raiders, for the daredevil feat of capturing a Confederate locomotive. One of the happy raiders wrote this cryptic note to his father. The train went toot. We started to shoot. We captured the loot, got a medal to boot. Oh, by the way, Tom Custer, brother of the famous General Custer, received 2 congressional medals. Of course, General Custer got an award, too. Unfortunately, it was pinned on him by Sitting Bull. These campaign medals are for the Civil War, but it was 1905 before Congress authorized them to be issued. It took Congress a long time to get around to saying thanks. Here's an ironic twist for you. The soldiers who were fighting the Indians were not awarded medals, but the Indians were. They were called presidential medals and were given to Indian chiefs at the conclusion of peace treaties. This is about all the poor Indian got for Arizona, New Mexico, and the whole Southwest. Boy, we sure hung one on them in that deal. In our story this week, Medal for Valor, a man pays a high price for his congressional medal. Our star is Richard Basehart.
Well, there we are, honey. Fort Bonner. Tired, Don?
A little. We've come so far.
We had to start over again someplace.
And the Stewarts are in Fort Bonner.
Kathy, we've been over that time and again.
Every Union veteran is entitled to a section of land. All you have to do is sign.
Another man's name.
Oh, I know how you feel, David.
Kathy, try to understand. The land would be in Adam Stewart's name. That's the name the baby would have to carry if we go on living this lie. I'm not going to do it. Hit.
You blasted fool, this was your fault.
Mine? You were coming down that street like a madman.
You don't know much about driving a wagon, Sergeant. What do you think, you own this town or something?
You better go about your business, mister. You've caused enough trouble here.
You don't give orders to nobody, Sergeant. Not anymore. If I wasn't in such a hurry, I'd prove it to you.
You're welcome to try, friend.
David, your arm.
Hold it, Blake.
I've told you about making trouble in this town. You're not hurt, and neither's your wagon. So get going.
I remember you, sodbuster.
Now, there's a real troublemaker. Good man to stay away from. Well, looks as though you got the worst of it. You won't get far with those broken spokes. If you have a spare wheel, I'll be very happy to give you a hand. I'm the sheriff of this county, Adam Stewart.
I haven't got a spare.
Well, if you need any help,
I'll ask for it. Sheriff Stewart. You been around here long?
A couple of years. Pretty ambitious fellow.
What about his father?
Old Roof? He's doing fine. Runs a big building business. Sometimes figure he pretty much runs Adam, too. You know him?
I did. Long time ago.
Yeah. Well, your wagon will be ready first thing in the morning.
Thanks.
David.
Please, Kathy.
Look, we don't have to have the government land. I might find work for a few months yet before the baby comes. We could save and buy our own place.
A whole section? You know, that's 640 acres. It'd take us the rest of our lives. I want what's rightfully mine, and I intend to get it.
But you don't need a gun.
A gun, and even one hand to use it with makes every man equal in these parts. Stop worrying, Kathy.
Oh, I love you, David. And I want my baby to bear your name, but you've had trouble enough.
Well, I can take care of myself. Stewart will listen to reason. Now, we got to find you a room, and then I'll go look for him.
Stewart, if you're looking for work, see my labor boss, George Blake. You'll find him down at the...
You should know me, Mr. Stewart.
Of course I do. You're Dave Manning. Well, come in, come in. Well, you seem to have come through it all right.
Yeah, better than some.
Unfortunate. Well, and your wife, how did she make out?
Yeah, she's with me.
Fine. What are you doing in Fort Bonner?
I'm looking for you.
Ben, slide on down to the station. See if those waybills and that lumber shipping are in yet.
Yes, sir.
I thought our account was settled.
Not yet. Yeah, that'll get your son into Congress. They're electing war heroes these days.
To Adam Stewart for outstanding heroism.
It's got his name on it.
I still don't know why you came here.
The government's giving land to veterans. I can have a whole section just for the asking. But only as Adam Stewart. I don't want it that way. I want my own land and my own name. All I need from you is an affidavit that you hired me to serve your son.
An affidavit? That's out of the question.
I came 2,000 miles to get the truth on paper.
Adam is sheriff here. He's running for Congress.
So I've heard.
Do you realize what an admission of hiring another man to serve in his place in the war will do to Adam's chances in the election? No. He's never known about this, and he won't find out now.
I want that affidavit.
I'm sorry. I can't give it to you.
But I'm not going to leave town until I get it. I got all my service papers with me. I'll use them if I have to.
You can't frighten me or force me. My son's whole future...
My wife's going to have a baby. I don't want my child brought up with another man's name.
I think you'd better leave.
I'm not going till I get what I came for, no matter what.
Get out. Out of this office. Out of this town.
I'll give you until tomorrow.
You know my opponent, Jim Harder. good man and a worthy opponent. But I don't think I have to remind you what the name Stewart stands for. Thank you. Now that the war is over, I think it's time for us to think about our great future here in the West. I think most of you know what kind of a job I'll do, and I'm counting on all of you to give me a chance to do it.
Mr. Stewart,
You have a question, friend?
how do you stand on the veteran question?
If you knew me better, you wouldn't ask me that. I'm foreseeing that every one of them gets a fresh start, not only with money and land, but with our undying gratitude for what they've done for every one of us.
You serve in the war, Sheriff?
Don't start a debate, Adam.
I regret that I didn't have that honor, sir. But I hope to make up a little for not having served by working that much harder for my community, my constituents, and my country when I'm elected to Congress.
David, please, not here in front of all these people.
I've said enough for now.
Excuse me. You're the man who asked those questions at the rally. I'm James Harder. I'm running for Congress against Adam Stewart.
I don't vote here, Mr. Harder.
Well, no matter. I like to meet newcomers regardless of votes.
Oh, won't you sit down?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. When you asked those questions, you had a reason, I suppose.
Important plans. Even a year or two in the service could seriously delay them. If he
You
were
want me to take your son's place?
I do.
But my wife, I've been exempted from service because of her illness. All right.
$500 is a good sum of money, Mr. Manning.
My wife's life is worth more.
Are you sure it'll do any good?
We can't stay here in New York, and the doctors feel if I can get her to a drier climate, she'll recover completely. Look, I don't want charity.
You'll get none from me. This has just arrived. My son Adam has been conscripted. I had hoped the war between the states would be over before we had to resort to conscription. He hasn't seen this, doesn't know anything about it. I have great plans for my son, Mr. Manning.
Stewart.
You will report in my son's place for induction at the Armory in 3 days. That should give you ample time to settle your affairs.
Did you?
I'm a businessman, Mr. Manning. Now, just what are you prepared to give in return for this money?
You mean collateral? I'm afraid I can't give anything, sir, except my word that you'll be paid back. I'm sorry I bothered you.
I didn't say I wouldn't give you the money.
Then you'll make the loan?
No, not as a loan.